Nice opinion. Just one tiny problem with it. Inspecting your post, it looks like your opinion is different from mine. Let me tell you something. I am the baseline for opinions. Any opinion I hold is objectively correct, and as a result, any other opinions are wrong. Guess what? You happen to hold a wrong one. I hope you know that your opinion is now illegal. I have contacted the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the Navy SEALs, Secret Service, and your mom. You'll be sorry you ever shared your opinions. By the time you're reading this, you'll be done for. Nature will punish you. Humanity will punish you. Supernatural beings will punish you. Space will punish you. We decided just to make sure we'll nuke your house from orbit, so there's no chance you can run away. Everyone will know you will die. It's a small price to pay to remove your wrong opinion from this world.
Welcome back to our stream. Anyone watching the rewatch, like, stream, subscribe if you like the stuff, comment your thoughts in the comments if you have any. And first, we're gonna talk about Johnny Somlai, Hank, and him kind of leaving each other, and the court to update. Then we'll get into VShojo, more falling. Then a little update on MADEIN stuff as well. So let's get started.
Big updates in the trial of Ramzi Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali. That will be a nightmare in this case and a nightmare for Ramzi. So we're going to get into that today on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney who's been covering this case from back to front. And we're going to get into it today on this Fast Facts episode. Of course, the Fast Facts are the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news. If you like this, please like the video and leave a comment below. So let's just jump right into the PowerPoint to the PP here as we have an update here. Now, of course, for a little bit of a refresher for those that just want to recap very, very briefly, he currently, Ramzi, has been charged with 8 different criminal charges. His next court date is on October 29th of 2025. He has pled guilty to all of the obstruction charges, that's 4 counts, all of the Minor Offenses Act, which is 2 counts, and he has pled not guilty to the 2 deepfakes, which are going to come up at the next trial. So we've got that coming up for the next trial. And that leads us into the sentencing. And this is something I really want to update, as after the trial, I've seen a ton of clickbait, a ton of misinformation. The maximum amount he is facing is 12 years. Anything else is just trying to get you to click. It's just trying to not, make it sound better. That is the total under the guidelines. Now, some channels just aren't factoring in the guidelines, and that's kind of innocent and or unintentional. Other ones are intentionally doing it's clickbait. I'm not going to call them all out. You guys know them, but just make sure that is the maximum. That is a total, and that is the accurate number. Now, most likely, people are asking, Andrew, what is your guess now? I think it's going to be somewhere at least at the minimum on the default. That's my guess. So, at the bottom, I would think about 4 years, 9 months. That would be reasonable. And it could go all the way up to 12. So somewhere between 4 and 12, obviously being what I think. I don't think he's going to get the mitigated minimum. I think 4 years and 9 months, that'd be a reasonable minimum. And it could go up to, 8 years, 10, 9, 10, 12, 11. We'll see. But 4 is definitely something that can happen in this case. Now, Somali will go to jail even if he appeals. So this is something people have asked. What if he appeals? It actually is quite easy to appeal in South Korea, but you do not get that as a get out of jail free card. Appealing is not a get out of jail free card. So even if he appeals, he's appealing from jail. So that's not going to really help him with staying out of Korean jail. And by the time that he appeals, by the time he gets through everything, he'll likely be deep within his sentence, right? He might even not be finished with his appeal by the time he's already done.
I think we already knew that he's going to be in jail regardless. Like, there's no way he's getting out of it.
On serving his time. So there's that. Beyond that, what are some updates? Well, we have a huge witness update. So the next trial is October 29th, and it's going to be witness testimony. Witness. It's going to be crazy. And we already know that there were going to be 2 witnesses there, Bong Bong and Youngman. But now we have official confirmation that there will be actually 3 witnesses. And this has been confirmed by the court filing. So we know this is a fact. Once again, we go on facts, not speculation. These are things that are absolutely locked in. So we know there's going to be 3. So who is this third person? Well, this third person is absolutely Somali's true nightmare. And this is the worst case for Ramsey. That third person is none other than Yu Dalgun. None other than the SEAL, the underwater
Basically, the Navy.
demolition team member, which is essentially the Korean Navy SEAL, who, of course, gave that infamous punch. He went viral for that. Somali, has been trying to bury this guy maliciously in civil law.
I mean, he's afraid for good reason. I mean, he's basically a Navy SEAL.
Lawsuits, but he's actually had all of his law fines paid off, all of his stuff paid off. There was a very generous donation by Donut Operator that I helped facilitate that essentially paid everything off that Somali tried to bury him with. Somali talks tough and says, I don't call the cops, I don't rat, blah, blah, blah. He immediately reported this when he immediately went after him. And he's been dedicated, Dalgun is dedicated to bringing down Somali. He's always been helpful with the proceedings. And the most important thing is he's not going to be scared by Somali and his gang. Now, Somali and his gang tried to scare Bong Bong. I think, Youngman's not really going to be scared either, but it's really not going to work with Dalgun. Dalgun is not going to bend the knee. He's not going to flinch. He doesn't have dirt on him. He's pretty clean overall. It's something that it's going to be really hard for the lawyer for Ramsey to fight back against. It's going to be really, really, really difficult for them to try to take down Yu Dalgun because they really don't have the same pressure points and they're not going to have the same ability to try to press in. So whereas, we don't know how Bong Bong will perform when she's put up as a witness. We don't know how Youngman will perform. He's a little bit of a wild card, but I can say Dalgun is going to be a solid performance on the stand. He's going to be very, no nonsense, straightforward, not going to be able to break him mentally or physically. And that is the worst thing that could happen for Johnny. As for Ramsey's lawyer, there's been a lot of misinformation to the point that I felt the need to correct this. And this does happen from time to time with other channels. He has not resigned. There's some fake channels and fake news and other stuff like that are putting that out there. He is still the attorney of record. When you step down, that has to be a court filing, or if there's a switch in attorney. He has not changed his representation. He has not stepped down. If he does step down, I would know immediately because they would have to go through the official proceedings, and we'll give you that update immediately. But until I give you an update that Ramsey's lawyers step down, he's still the lawyer. So that's misinformation. Now, do I think he could step down? Maybe, sure, in the future it's possible, but he hasn't. Factually, he hasn't. So that's a big thing I wanted to clear up. Next, the Child Welfare Act. This is something that a lot of people are asking me about, and I want to
This is the serious one.
be very frank with you about this, because once again, this is under ongoing investigation. We do not know yet whether they will decide to bring this, and that is a very important fact. We want them to. We've provided them with the best information they can get. All the information they've got is the best information they can get. There's not going to be more information that's going to make a better case to charge him under the CWS, Child Welfare Act, than what we have provided and what they have. They've gotten some interviews, they've gotten follow-up, they've gotten extra information. So we know it's ongoing. We know they're taking it seriously.
And after that, it's honestly up to them.
However, we do have new information. And I don't want to go into all the details, but that new information indicates that this will likely not be added to Ramsey's current trial. So it is very likely this will not be out of the current trial. Now, some of you may be sad about that because you may say, okay, well, this could have delayed the current trial and kept them longer. Well, hold on. It's not necessarily bad. What would happen if, once again, if prosecutors decide to indict him, they'll probably do that in a different district, probably not the Western, probably the Eastern, and that will be a new trial. And likely by that time, Somali's trial will either be over or almost over, and even better, he'll be sentenced. So then they'd be dragging him in a prison jumpsuit. He'll be in the prison gear for the new trial, which makes sure he's a convicted criminal. It's definitely an aggravation. It doesn't look good. This would be very, very bad for him and would extremely extend his time in Korea. if he is convicted of the Child Welfare Act. That would extend his time a great deal, because it's a new charge. So this is something that I want everybody to be aware of. We're going to watch it. We're going to keep you updated. This is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. In fact, procedurally, it could be a W, huge W. The last thing I want to point out, and I'll put this in the description below, is there is a trailer for the film IRL that is out. This is a production that I really endorse because it's a neutral kind of documentary that's going over really documenting the IRL streaming in Korea, the saga as it relates to both Somali and ICE. You're going to see all that sort of stuff. That trailer is in the link below. So if you want to check that out, go check that out. Say that Legal Mindset sent you and enjoy that. But until next procedurally, it could be neutral kind of documentary that's going over really documenting the IRL streaming in Korea, the saga as it relates to both Somali and ICE. You're going to see all that sort of stuff. That trailer is in the link below. So if you want to check that out, go check that out. Say that Legal Mindset sent you and enjoy that. But until next time, guys, take care, and I'll catch you on the next.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
We will do that later. Okay. Okay, so here's the other one.
Big updates in the trial of Ramsey Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali. That will be a nightmare in this case and a nightmare for Ramsey. So we're going to get into that today on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney who's been covering this case from back to front. And we're going to get into it today on this Fast Facts episode. Of course, the Fast Facts are the quick and nerdy version of the latest in legal news. If you like this, please like the video and leave a comment below. So let's just jump right into the PowerPoint to the PP here as we have an update here. Now, of course, for a little bit of a refresher, for those that just want to recap very, very briefly, he currently, Ramsey, has been charged with 8 different criminal charges. His next court date is on October 29th of 2025. He has pled guilty to all of the obstruction charges, that's 4 counts, all of the Minor Offenses Act, which is 2 counts, and he has pled not guilty to the 2 deepfakes, which are going to come up at the next trial. So we've got that coming up for the next trial. And that leads us into the sentencing. And this is something I really want to update, as after the trial, I've seen a ton of clickbait, a ton of misinformation. The maximum amount he is facing is 12 years. Anything else is just trying to get you to click. It's just trying to not,
I mean, that was also, again, expected. I mean, going past 12 would be a surprise. Maybe if something really serious comes out that they need to go past 12 years, but other than that,
make it sound better. That is the total under the guidelines. Now, some channels just aren't factoring in the guidelines, and that's kind of innocent and or unintentional. Other ones are intentionally doing it's clickbait. I'm not going to call them all out. You guys know them, but just make sure that is the maximum. That is a total, and that is the accurate number. Now, most likely, people are asking, Andrew, what is your guess now? I think it's going to be somewhere at least at the minimum on the default. That's my guess. So, at the bottom, I would think about 4 years, 9 months. That would be reasonable. And it could go all the way up to 12. So somewhere between 4 and
my guess is 5 to 8.
12, obviously being what I think. I don't think he's going to get the mitigated minimum. I think 4 years and 9 months, that'd be a reasonable minimum. And it could go up to, 8 years, 10, 9, 10, 12, 11. We'll see. But 4 is definitely something that can happen in this case. Now, Somali will go to jail even if he appeals. So this is something people have asked. What if he appeals? It actually is quite easy to appeal in South Korea, but you do not get that as a get out of jail free card. Appealing is not a get out of jail free card. So even if he appeals, he's appealing from jail. So that's not going to really help him with staying out of Korean jail. And by the time that he appeals, by the time he gets through everything, he'll likely be deep within his sentence, right? He might even not be finished with his appeal by the time he's already done serving his time. So there's that. Beyond that, what are some updates? Well, we have a huge witness update. So the next trial is October 29th, and it's going to be witness testimony. Witness. It's going to be crazy. And we already know that there were going to be 2 witnesses there, Bong Bong and Youngman. But now we have official confirmation that there will be actually 3 witnesses. And this has been confirmed by the court filing. So we know this is a fact. Once again, we go on facts, not speculation. These are things that are absolutely locked in. So we know there's going to be 3. So who is this third person? Well, this third person is absolutely Somali's true nightmare. And this is the worst case for Ramsey. That third person is none other than Yu Dalgun. None other than the... Do I think he could step down? Maybe, sure, in the future, it's possible. But he hasn't happened in this case. Now, Somali will go to jail even if he appeals. So this is something people have asked. What if he missed punch? He went viral.
How did I accidentally click the wrong video?
For that, Somali, has been trying to bury this guy maliciously in civil lawsuits, but he's actually had all of his law fines paid off, all of his stuff paid off. There was a very generous donation by Donut Operator that I helped facilitate that essentially paid everything off that Somali tried to bury him with. Somali talks tough and says, I don't call the cops, I don't rat, blah, blah, blah. He immediately reported this when he immediately went after him. And he's been dedicated, Dalgun is dedicated to bringing down Somali. He's always been helpful with the proceedings. And the most important thing is he's not going to be scared by Somali and his gang. Now, Somali and his gang tried to scare Bong Bong. I think, Youngman's not really going to be scared either, but it's really not going to work with Dalgun. Dalgun is not going to bend the knee. He's not going to flinch. He doesn't have dirt on him. He's pretty clean overall. It's something that it's going to be really hard for the lawyer for Ramsey to fight back against. It's going to be really, really, really difficult for them to try to take down Yu Dalgun because they really don't have the same pressure points and they're not going to have the same ability to try to press in. So whereas, we don't know how Bong Bong will perform when she's put up as a witness. We don't know how Youngman will perform. He's a little bit of a wild card, but I can say Dalgun is going to be a solid performance on the stand. He's going to be very, no nonsense, straightforward, not going to be able to break him mentally or physically. And that is the worst thing that could happen for Johnny. As for Ramsey's lawyer, there's been a lot of misinformation to the point that I felt the need to correct this. And this does happen from time to time with other channels. He has not resigned. There's some fake channels and fake news and other stuff like that are putting that out there. He is still the attorney of record. When you step down, that has to be a court filing, or if there's a switch in attorney. He has not changed his representation. He has not stepped down. If he does step down, I would know immediately because they would have to go through the official proceedings, and we'll give you that update immediately. But until I give you an update that Ramsey's lawyers stepped down, he's still the lawyer. So that's misinformation. Now, do I think he could step down? Maybe, sure, in the future, it's possible, but he hasn't. Factually, he hasn't. So that's a big thing I wanted to clear up. Next, the Child Welfare Act. This is something that a lot of people are asking me about, and I want to be very frank with you about this because, once again, this is under ongoing investigation. We do not know. We do not know yet whether they will decide to bring this, and that is a very important fact. We want them to. We've provided them with the best information they can get. All the information they've got is the best information they can get. There's not going to be more information. It's going to make a better case to charge him under the CWS, Child Welfare Act, than what we have provided and what they have. They've gotten some interviews. They've gotten follow-up. They've gotten extra information. So we know it's ongoing. We know they're taking it seriously. However, we do have new information. And I don't want to go into all the details, but that new information indicates that this will likely not be added to Ramsey's current trial. So it is very likely this will not be added to the current trial. Now, some of you may be sad about that because you may say, okay, well, this could have delayed the current trial and kept them longer. Well, hold on. It's not necessarily bad. What would happen if, once again, if prosecutors decide to indict him, they'll probably do that in a different district, probably not the Western, probably the Eastern, and that will be a new trial. And likely by that time, Somali's trial will either be over or almost over. And even better, he'll be sentenced. So then they'd be dragging him in a prison jumpsuit. He'll be in the prison gear for the new trial, which makes sure he's a convicted criminal. It's definitely an aggravation. It doesn't look good. This would be very, very bad for him and would extremely extend his time in Korea. If he is convicted of the Child Welfare Act, that would extend his time a great deal, because it's a new charge. So this is something that I want everybody to be aware of. We're going to watch it. We're going to keep you updated. This is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. In fact, procedurally, it could be a W, huge W.
Yeah, so that's that one. Yeah, I think it will probably wait for. They're probably waiting for another trial to do that one specifically. So that said, this is the I guess that we'll do the IRL video trailer right now since this is gonna be the end part of the Johnny Somlai part of the stream.
Let me introduce myself if you don't know me already. I am Johnny Somali. I am part of the criminal nuisance live streamer gang called CX. I am a high-ranking member in the black sheep of the family. We are ran by our top leader, Ice Poseidon.
At the end of the day, I always win with no repercussions at all, ever.
Hey, you guys know me, I have zero social anxiety at all. I don't give a
Talk about everyone, but now you want to do some content.
Look, I didn't do nothing to you, Bong Bong, for you to sue me. So I don't know.
Yeah, not yet.
No.
Y'all is jealous. Y'all getting like this. Look at me.
You
I'll explain
are
why.
losing reputation by the second from the viewers.
신고하려고 하는데요.
Now he is not going to be leaving for a very long time.
Why would I want to help you? I would never help you. I don't like you.
You don't have to like me. You don't like a lot of the people that you stream with.
Yeah, but I in particularly hate you.
Every time there's a redemption arc, I got like a demon in me, though.
Come back. You just been in the game?
Man, dude, you made the game, dude. I am the game.
Yeah, so that is the trailer for that might be a good movie. So yeah, that's the that's the trailer for that, and then we'll go back to VShojo area. Okay. Yeah, back to this, and we'll talk about MADEIN later.
Booking.com has all kinds of stays because a city hotel is right for some, but not.
VShojo has failed again, as they say they lack.
Again they've done it so many times. It stops being surprising at this point.
The amount of money even to declare bankruptcy. That's right. They say that they are lacking in funds. We're going to get into the reality today and the two most likely scenarios. Of course, I'm Nick Resquire, this legal mindset, which you should be your own judge. And this is the fast facts version, the quick and dirty version, the latest in legal news. So let's get into this one today as I'm on the road, but I've got a nice PowerPoint for you. So VShojo has failed again. So let me give you the scenario that's come out. This, of course, came out.
How many times do you have to fail?
They're one of our favorite former talents. We have Kason here. So Kason had a nice clip where she was discussing the current state with VShojo. And she was surprised to learn in her communications and saying, hey, look, this is still going on. There's still a lot happening at VShojo. It's going to be a long time before everything is out in the open. Of course, that makes complete sense because, of course, there's lawsuits here. There's probably regulatory stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on with VShojo that they cannot all talk about, but they can talk about what's been disclosed about this bankruptcy. And bankruptcy, by the way, is something on this channel I told you guys about. I said bankruptcy is inevitable to bring up in these circumstances because bankruptcy is really the only way they're going to get out from under a lot of these obligations. Well, they came out here and told apparently Kason or her counsel, hey, apparently you need money. And guess what? Guess what? We don't have any money. They don't even have money to declare bankruptcy. They don't even have enough money. That's what VShojo is claiming. And they're saying that they want the talents.
That doesn't, how does that make sense? How do you need money to declare bankruptcy? Isn't the point of bankruptcy you don't have any money? Am I missing something?
To pay up. They're saying, hey, we're not going to be able to pay you back. Hey, talent, we could pay you back some. But if we don't declare bankruptcy, we're not going to be able to pay you back at all. And we don't even have the money, so we're not even going to get your taxes back. So blah, blah, blah. No, this is all completely bunk. This doesn't make sense.
This is a guilt trip is what it is. A guilt trip or some other trap.
This doesn't, add up. And we're going to talk about this today. First of all, this is very good for Kason for sharing this. And thank you for Kason for getting this out. But the issue is there's really two scenarios. And the first scenario, VShojo is just lying. Okay, yes,
Well, that's obvious.
there are legal costs for bankruptcy. That is true. You do have to pay for filing fees as you do with many other cases. And let's pretend you do everything yourself and you really don't contract a lawyer or you have a pro bono lawyer, etc. You might be able to get the cost around $1,000, right? That's pretty reasonable. The average cost is between $1,000 to $5,000 in America in 2025 for a corporate bankruptcy. That would be very reasonable. Once again, I know that for some people that is a lot of money, and I'm not trying to say that isn't a lot of money. However, for a corporation with $1 million budget, that is not a lot of money. And that is certainly, if you see your finances going down, a predictable expense. $1,000 should be something that a corporation, we're not talking about, Jimmy on the street corner. We're talking about a corporation should be able to find $1,000 to at least file a very basic bankruptcy. That should not be something that is a insurmountable object. And based on also the previous spending, it does seem like it's a lie, or it might be a lie, because they spent 10x of that on just ads before. And that's an estimate, right? It's not exact math. But what I'm saying is they spent multiples more just on advertising just in the single months before. So if you take one of those individual months and you just look at the advertising budget, it's more than this. It's 10x what they paid for bankruptcy. So you're telling me we're able to pay for all those ads, the ads that Connor, that Sea-Dog VA talked about in Shinjuku Station, etc., all over Japan, those super expensive ads. You were able to pay for those, but you weren't able to save $1,000 for bankruptcy? Really?
Something's not adding up on this one.
Really? And you're able to pay staff and operations expenses, all those other things you had to, you could have said, hey, we're going to take a haircut. We're not going to come in on Fridays, whatever, right? We knew this downfall was happening and we couldn't save $1,000 for bankruptcy. Come on, man. And you're telling me the executives, you're telling me Gun Run and all the other executives can't get together and each pull out, let's say 10 executives and managers pull out $100, right? You can't get to 1,000. I'm not believing this. I'm really not believing this, especially where they live. $1,000 for a lot of these guys that were living in the Bay Area, $1,000 is a Tuesday dinner, right? Just in the Bay Area. So once again, I'm saying like this is something that is absolutely possible, that they are just lying and trying as a last-ditch effort to squeeze the talent because they know they don't have many cards left to threaten the talent. The talent is lawyered up. So now they're trying to bleed them for every.
I don't think they have anything left from the talents because the talents, all left. They all know what happened. So I don't think you can guilt trip or do anything to try to get them to pay or anything. So I don't know what they have left to squeeze for paying the talents for.
Every last penny. And you know what? I think it's BS. I would call their bluff on that if it's scenario one. Now let's explore, because I always explore all options. I'm very fair. We're very educational here. Let's go towards number two. Let's go towards scenario two. So scenario two is they are really broke. They're truly broke. Well, if they truly don't even have $1,000 or $2,000, $3,000 in the bank, they are truly that broke. That would indicate a severe, not minor, a severe mismanagement of funds. That would be handling company funds in such a way that was completely reckless. The downfall was predictable. Bankruptcy cost is severely minimal in the scope of an overall corporate budget. The talents have no obligation to pay and should not pay. And beyond that, they should consider breaking their NDAs. Because if they find out that this is true, they're not lying, and they're actually that broke.
Citizens arrest!
So either way, it's going to look bad.
Actually that broke, they cannot enforce the NDAs. How are they going to pay for enforcement of the NDAs? If you can't pay $1,000 to go declare bankruptcy, how are you going to spend tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars enforcing NDAs? I'll wait. I really will wait, because I don't see that making any sense in any world that's real. So if they want to keep the NDAs as enforceable, then okay. Another thing they could do is, if
I mean, it doesn't make sense either way.
they're really that broke and the talent said, okay, we'll pay you the $1,000, but you have to say the NDAs are now null and void. That's where they could go. Say, okay, you want money for a bankruptcy? Here's the plan. Here's the Sigma move. You just say, hey, I'll give you that $1,000 gun run, since you don't have 1,000. I'll give you 1,000, but all the NDAs are null and void, all of them, for all the talents. That's your move. That's your move, and that's checkmate, right? That's checkmate. That's how you.
That's what I was going to say. Check and mate.
Bring them out, and you call them out on that lie. You say, hey, I'll do this, but you've got to avoid the NDAs. If they're that broke and they're really in it for the good, they really are talent first, right? That's a good deal, right? Because the talents get to speak. Talent should be allowed to speak, right? If they're paying up. But the thing is, if they really are that broke, if they really don't have the money, that is opening the door to piercing the corporate veil. I've talked about this. It's a very important legal concept. And this deals with going past the corporate entity and suing the executives personally. Now, I know that we are really focused on Gun Run here, and he's one of the few we have pictures of, so I'm showing his picture. But it's not just Gun Run. It's the executives, the C-suite level guys, the highest level guys, including Gun Run, going after them personally for their assets. They seem to be very personally invested in this. They are personally following. I've noticed them on X following all of their detractors personally. So I imagine a lot of this is invested in the egos of these people, in their horrible decisions, and their bad mismanagement, and their absolutely mediocre handling of a company. So yes, I think that if they are that broke, go after them individually. So there's all these options here, guys, whether they're breaking the NDAs through an agreement, whether they're going after them personally, or whether they're just lying and doing a bluff. VShojo is clearly showing itself to be a failure yet again. Let me know what you guys.
Shocker there. I mean, VShojo has failed in every way you could possibly fail.
Think in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Okay, that's said.
From here on in, it's one battle after another.
Okay, that said, we're going to talk about the MADEIN stuff real quick. So, yesterday, I think it was Tuesday, I talked about this person. So we got some. Okay, so this is the Okay, so this is the new information. Okay, they've been confirmed to be at a fan fest this November. However, the official promo images released shows only the 4 members MADEIN S, which is the Japanese only members. Noticeably, there's no mention of Yasu Asua. This raises serious questions. Are Yasu and Sue not able to attend the festival? If so, was neither 143 Entertainment nor Bison address this? Why is the group being promoted as 4 members without any clarification regarding the 2? Fans are left increasing worried by silence. Transparency is essential, and continued avoidance only opens concerns for the well-being and future of these members. 143, why are you silent about 2 of your members? If they're healthy, explain the absence. If they're not, give them time and support they need. And if you cannot provide either, let them be free. Yeah. So right now, 2 of the members are basically have not been shown since April, at least one of them. And now, according to the official notice on Emmet MADEIN's community, the upcoming, obviously, the Fan Festival, November 2nd, November will feature only the Japanese members, Mishiro, Miyu, Serena, and Nagomi. Make up the subunit Emmet MADEIN S. This mirrors the Kansei collection scheduled in August, which also listed MADEIN, but ultimately included only MADEIN. Promoted these appearances as MADEIN when only the subunit is attending is misleading and confusing. Meanwhile, MP3 and Season continue to avoid addressing the absence of Yesu and Suhei. Suhei has been on a hiatus since the 8th of May, while shifting explanations from health reasons to personal reasons followed the deletion of the statement altogether. Sue has been inactive on Instagram since the 27th of May, unable to update her Plus chat over a month later, explaining at her birthday cafe that she was not permitted to post as usual. Fans are increasingly concerned about the true status of both members. We'll begin with the erasure of Dan now appears to have been replaced with Suhu and Yesu. We cannot remain silent. Other members are excluded. Yes, so that said, yeah. It seems they're trying to, erase them, or I don't know, make it a Japanese only. But the one issue or one problem with this is the fact that Mashiro and Yasu are friends. That's why why they have a tagline called Yashiro. So if one leaves, the other probably comes after. And whether that be, the end of her or not, I don't think she's willing to, stay there while her best friend is not. So we'll see. But, until that time comes, I guess we keep on the lookout and stuff. So let's check this real quick. This.
Disrespectful IRL streamer walking out of court realizing he's completely destroyed his life. And now he's facing a max sentence of over 40 years in prison once you add up all of his charges together. 6 of which he's already pleaded guilty to. And things just keep getting worse for this guy because he refuses to apologize. He keeps on doubling down on his moronic behavior. And at this point, he's just completely digging his own grave to the point where he's honestly really going for that.
I mean, again, realistically, it all adds up to 40 years, but probably he's not going to get the 40 years, just to clarify that one.
#1 spot of the Influencer Hall of Fame morons. Now, you may be asking, how is this possible? Well, he's built an entire career of harassing people in public.
How's this possible? He's a complete idiot.
He went to Japan to do exactly this and quickly found out because people started confronting him all the time. And it's crazy how much I called what was going to happen over 2 years ago.
You're from America?
Yes.
So am I.
You're from America.
Yeah, you're being obnoxious.
You know what we do to you?
What do you do?
We will do again.
Do what?
His career path is now limited, to say the least. He can
and he responded with, "I'm from Texas, dude."
keep streaming to the morons who are entertained by his behavior, but at some point, being disrespectful like this will either get stale or it's going to catch up to him in the worst way possible.
But back then, he ended up being chased down by alleged Yakuza members. He was forced to
getting chased by Yakuza, which it's kind of funny.
Apologize multiple times, but because he didn't do it in a sincere way, he ended up fleeing Japan for Thailand.
I'm not proud of the Thailand part.
Call me, be me if you need me. Now they all been watching like it's TV.
Where's the chat? Where's the chat?
No way I do it looking like it's easy.
Listen, I'm here as the lawyer. Listen.
But my head keeps spinning like a CD. Gotta do it right, never repeat. I just want more. You could tell when you meet me.
Oh, police are here, guys. Oh, police action price.
Are you on board? Trade flip and it's easy. 2014 outside of my DC.
If you ain't doing like super degenerative, maybe I'll see you again.
Okay, I like that. We get
But you know, just don't get canceled all over Twitter again.
No worries. I won't bring that heat up.
Maybe throw it down like a bike, no kickstand. I've been feeling stuck in this life, no quicksand. Shit ain't coming quick, but I ride no ifs and still got kids coming up like big fan. Turn down one band for more bands, have more plans. The core fans just stacked up with smacked up. I felt and got back up.
申し訳ありませんでした。申し訳ありませんでした。
Oh, you a bad. That's what it is. You a bad. That's they get.
Yeah, going to Israel during the peak of the war also. I'm surprised.
Dinner. I change all. Right, baby.
They don't know your name. Like guess what?
I'm surprised he came out alive out of Israel because that was the straight up during it. And Korea, here we go.
So in September of 2024, he arrives here in Seoul, Korea, and he goes to the Mapo district, and he starts to stream by going straight into this GS25 store here. And he immediately made his way to the refrigerated section to buy soju, a traditional Korean alcoholic beverage normally made from either rice or sweet potatoes. And with this, he starts harassing the local citizens of Seoul. So after stopping at this GS25, they made their way down here. Obviously, this venue was packed, and he ended up running up on the stage. So not long after he goes live here in Seoul, Korea, he immediately jumps up on this stage and interrupts a televised performance. So it took him about 10 to 20 minutes to start worrying if he was going to get arrested or not. So they made a run for it and ended up running to this bus stop right here, and they got on this bus. And here he only rode the bus for a few stops until the bus driver actually threw him off the bus, which in South Korea can easily be a business disruption charge, which he's currently facing 4 of. And you can really tell how uncomfortable his friend got with Johnny because he immediately left him because that was the last time he ever saw his friend on his stream.
Bro, stop being a piece of my goddamn.
And soon after, he went to this market and bought a fish, went onto a bus, and started harassing people with the fish and playing North Korean propaganda. And when people asked him to stop multiple times, he did what he always does. He laughed in their face and didn't do so. So he was eventually confronted by the police, lied to them, so they let him go. And then he continued what he was doing to begin with. And then he was confronted by the police again. And then he lied to them again. And then he was let go yet again. The cycle just keeps repeating with this guy. But unfortunately, they just kept a tally and kept charging him with more and more charges.
And they figured it out.
You know your business better than anyone, right? So why not build an app to run it with Base 44? This app solves...
Why you being to other people in other countries? For money, for clout. I've said it many times. I don't give a. I have no morals. I'm a sociopath. I don't give.
Well, we know that.
Put this in your next YouTube documentary. I don't give a fuck. I want to apologize to the Korean people.
And at this point, I guess he just felt completely invincible here in South Korea. So that's what led him to do the 7-Eleven crash out. And then later on, the Latte World incident.
French, no English.
And this is what brought me to Seoul in March of 2025, because he was officially indicted. And I've been covering all of this from afar, but I wanted to see what this train wreck was like in person. And honestly, I was in complete disbelief. I've never seen a person who clearly knew better act this dumb and completely destroy his life for zero upside. By March of 2025, he'd already been stuck in Korea for...
Like the thing is, there's no actual pros to doing this. There's only cons. Like the only con, obviously the big con is your career, your life, your reputation is basically down the drain and ruined. The pros, I guess, is attention. I don't know.
For months. And finally, he had his opportunity to just apologize, take his penalty, and go home. What did he do though?
The opposite, obviously.
No, absolutely not that. Instead, he chose to insult the judge and judge's family just days before his trial, then show up to
Not a smart idea. Just gonna say the obvious out loud.
his trial over an hour late drunk.
The judge, the prosecutor, y'all can suck my causing anxiety by carrying a fish. Tell the judge you can suck my. I'll bring a fish to your mother's house.
Do you admit the charges? there anything you want to say?
The car.
Do you admit the charges? Don't you want to apologize?
I love North.
Now, as you can probably
Running from a little Korean girl. Nice.
see, that was a complete disaster before, during, and after the trial. So did he take this as a massive wake-up call to maybe sharpen up, start apologizing, and get his stuff together?
No.
Absolutely not. He continued to live stream himself committing felonies.
Stop this man! Stop this man! He's harassing my girlfriend. Go away.
At this point, I don't even know.
Again, that's illegal. Being at a protest that when you're not Korean, or a citizen at least, very illegal.
How is this person real? And this is what's brought us back now in August of 2025 because he's now racked up 8 charges.
Again, we're almost in September.
So we're now on our way to interview a guy by the name of Jung Do because he hit me up the other day and he claims that he sucker punched Johnny in the face. And he wanted to take us to the spot where he did it and give some backstory to why he did so. We're standing here in Gwangjang Market, and I'm here with Jung Do, who infamously punched Johnny Somlai in the face while he was standing right here. I had a few questions for him about what happened, and
Red Dead Redemption enthusiast is kind of funny.
my first question would be, why did you do it?
So the reason why I did it is because he was assaulting people in my country. Just by his behavior, just made me feel like furious. Made me go like blind rage just by harassing women and children and elderly people because for its clout, and also desecrating the statue that memorializes women who were forced into slavery, sorry about that, by Japanese imperials, which...
Yes, the comfort women thing. They forced, you know, like, you know...
By the way, most of them are underage. So after he did that, I just like, you know, screw it, I'm just gonna risk it.
Because you're in your 20s. I'm assuming most people in Korea in their 20s also feel the same way towards him, or...
Yeah, well, everyone's just sick of him. Most people recognize him for wrong reasons.
If I may ask, how were you able to track him down?
So to make it short, I was about to like, you know, do some of my personal like problems dealing with like accounting things. So then all of a sudden, around like 2 or 3 o'clock, Johnny was live streaming. I decided to call my friends. So we started to gather in the Discord call and told them, guys, this guy is streaming. We got to figure where this guy is. I know where his house is, but I'm not sure if you go to other places that I'm not familiar with. So can you guys track him down while I'm riding a train? And it was like, sure, go ahead. So basically the 4 of us figure out where he's going. Man, it was like a really long journey. And it kind of point I was like really exhausted by it. I was like really close to giving up. And then until one specific spot that helped me find this guy. It was a coffee shop right here.
Oh, so it was the White Button Coffee and Dessert?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
But it's all because of this place that I figured it out. And all of a sudden I was like filled with just adrenaline coming up. In my mind, this one music from a Red Dead Redemption on the Nightmare, I think it's called Voodoo, Bad Voodoo. Have you played that game?
Yes.
So this music was like playing in my head. And then I was like, kept running. And then I arrived here. And one of my friends just told me like, dude, I saw a police station in your camera. Bail, man, just bail. And then I walk across the street and then I came here.
You ended up sucker punching him right here. And then you ran this way, right?
Yeah.
He kind of started chasing you a little bit and you had a little bit of a confrontation. So you guys ran down here, and then if I remember correctly, you ran down here. And then this is essentially where the altercation ended. Because he said something, you ended up running a little bit back up the stairs, and then you went, oh, okay, I got to disengage.
Yeah, right? It's like, you know, I'm just so tired. I just want to go back home. That's it. If you want to go around and harass these people just for clout, or just do something really stupid in public, get a life, or do something.
Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Operation 2 a.m. pizza secured. Now we got to find a See You Again or a 7-Eleven. Oh, right here. Okay, that made it easy. Something in here is calling my name as well. Do I want a fish ice cream? It's like a bean paste ice cream. This also looks interesting. This kind of seems like a vibe. Honey apple ice cream cone. That's probably fascinating. So in Korea, they do things where it's like, they give you an ice cup and then you buy your own drinks and then you mix it into the ice cup and then you have a ready to go drink. Oh yeah, and you can also add all these things in here as well. We have something else in mind though. Okay, so we've now acquired our ice cups, but instead of making our own drinks inside of the 7-Eleven, which is extremely common here, we're going to do it a little bit differently because today's video is sponsored by GamerSubs. Shout out GamerSubs. Without them, we wouldn't be in Korea right now. What we're going to do is we bought some water and we're going to mix in the ice. We got the mango GamerSubs here now. What I do like about GamerSubs is it doesn't taste chalky. Also, you can get GamerSubs for what, 40 cents per serving. So it's basically the cheapest one on the market and it tastes the best. So I don't really see a loss here. And if you don't believe my statements, you can click this link in the description down below and use code ATOZI for a free sample pack of GamerSubs. So it's 1 spoon of GamerSubs per 500 milliliters. No, per 250 milliliters. Oh my. Don't worry, I shall clean that up.
This RPG game is crazy. In this game, you'll never know what's ahead of you. It may be...
And the ice will work as our own shaker cup today. Thankfully, GamerSubs also has a whole plethora of wonderful shaker cups as well. It actually smells amazing. Dude, taste that. Taste that. That is actually amazing. What? Taste that. Genuinely.
Okay, no, you got me.
Dude, that's amazing. Cheers.
Gombe.
Thank you. Thank you. Gombe.
Gombe.
Gombe. Gombe. Thank you so much, GamerSubs, for sponsoring this video. That was Cooking with Arling, Cooking with Earl, Cooking with Atozi. Raise your hand if you've ever seen something like this before. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Nailed that first try. Wait, I can't rotate that way. That's okay. Dude, did you see that?
Jesus Christ.
Did you see that? I caught it.
That was the GamerSubs.
That was purely GamerSubs. GamerSubs GG/Atozi. Use code ATOZI so you can have razor quick reflexes like me, and I'm completely jaywalking like a complete moron. I'm so sorry. Well, actually, I wasn't jaywalking. We had the right of way. Dude, we are so locked in.
So going into the trial, we had a lot of questions revolving Hank and Johnny's relationship because recently Hank went onto the K-Town Social podcast and said, hey, Johnny owed him $20,000. He wasn't associated with Johnny anymore, and Johnny no longer lived with him. And to be fair, are we surprised there's trouble in paradise when you have two dudes living on top of each other in a extremely small apartment for about a year? No, especially when you consider that one of the dudes there is not making any money. He's actually just a drain on this dude's life, and he's causing a massive rift between him and his family. And this guy's family is paying for the other dude's trial. It's just not a good deal for them whatsoever.
And they also don't like him.
We're now headed to the Johnny Somlai trial. It's the day of. The trial begins in just a few hours. It's pouring rain here in Seoul. So we have the umbrellas on deck, locked in. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens today because this apparently is supposed to be the most important trial day because you actually have a witness, which is Bong Bong. And it'll also be really interesting to see if Bong Bong actually shows up because it seems like there's been a lot of intimidation towards her because Johnny Somali and the people who support him don't want her to show up and testify. But again, she's not the only one who has the deepfake charges against him.
Was there a chance that this is also the day that we get to know like the closing dates and whatnot?
Could be. And the other interesting thing that's happening today is we'll find out what the fourth obstruction of business is. Also, today the trial is actually at 4 p.m., not 9 in the morning. So the odds of him not oversleeping and showing up drunk are a lot higher, but never zero with this guy. So what are we expecting to happen today in court?
We're going to hear a new charge, which is an obstruction of business. We know that.
Yeah.
And we're going to hear a plea.
Yeah.
Johnny. We're going to hear him confirm his address.
Yeah.
Confirm his occupation. See what he's going to say. And then what do we got? Bong Bong.
Right. Okay.
She's going to testify, and it should be very interesting.
Well, I guess we'll check back in when we know. So Johnny's current freedom will be decided behind these doors.
Obviously, I can't film inside the court, so we did a little drawing again. So here you see the judge in the middle there, and then on one side you have the prosecution, and on the other side you have the defense. And clearly we had a very sad Johnny Somali sitting in court today. So this is essentially what it looked like. You had the translator in the middle, and then you had the prosecution and the defense on opposite sides, and obviously the judge in the middle behind what says court in Korean there.
Hey, brother. Here's the boys. How we feeling?
Did you see that strut? He hit the...
What were the big updates that happened?
Drew was definitely walking cursive, or at the very least, italic. I've never seen someone try to keep that straight of a face before.
All right, so we just got out of court. What were the big updates that happened during
That's wild.
it?
Well, we had not a surprise witness, because the definition of that is somebody who we didn't know was going to be called. But we just made a mistake about assuming who was going to be called. It actually turned out to be the Lotte World employee who had to deal with Johnny.
Oh, so we thought Bong Bong was going to be called, but it wasn't Bong Bong. It was her instead.
Yes, so that was for the obstruction of business at Lotte World, and then but Johnny changed his plea to guilty.
So therefore, she didn't have to testify.
Exactly. There's no need for her to testify.
Okay.
She could just go because she pled guilty. So he changed that one plea, so now we only have 2 not guilty pleas.
And the 2 that are not guilty pleas, those are both for the deepfakes, or for the?
Those are both for the deepfakes.
Right.
And they're going to call witnesses for that, which is what they were arranging now.
Okay, so they did not originally want witnesses for that, or that's what
the lawyers tried to stop it.
Okay.
Since he insists on a not guilty plea, they have to call the witnesses.
But since now witnesses are involved, that means the next trial is going to be 2 to 3 months out from now, I'm assuming.
October 24th.
October 24th is the next trial then, okay.
We're waiting confirmation from that right now, because we always want to check, but it sounded like you're pretty sure that sounded like October 24th. Right?
When you've got smoke-free satisfaction, you've got the freedom to do things your way.
Yeah, the lawyer was asking for too much time for cross-referencing, so the judge said that prosecution said they only needed like 10-15 minutes. He wanted like 25-30 minutes. So that means the lawyer, since the lawyer first tried to stop the testimony, or stop the witnesses, but since the court insists on the witnesses, the lawyer asked for more time than they could allocate.
Okay.
So that means he really wants to, grill the witnesses.
So would you overall say this trial went good or bad for Johnny, or this case, or this trial date?
I think it was pretty stupid.
Okay.
It was but
I mean, I think it's always bad for him. Not gonna lie.
You have a defendant who's insisting on these not guilty pleas, and you have a lawyer who was just flustered. And this was actually the first time we heard this lawyer make an argument.
Yeah, and how do you do?
His argument was that Johnny did not produce the deepfakes; he only distributed them.
Right.
To which the prosecution says, well, that's what you're accused of. You're accused of distributing them, regardless of whether you made them.
Yeah.
So why are you insisting on a not guilty plea? But he is. It's a paradox.
Right.
It's like basically saying,
you made them, you're guilty.
Yes.
Oh, if you said you distributed them, you're guilty.
Yeah, they cannot deny having distributed them. I think it goes back to what the lawyer said, way back when. We said the law itself is stupid.
Right. Okay.
They're trying to argue.
They're trying the Chewbacca defense.
Johnny. Excuse you guys. No, okay. They don't want to be on camera. What's interesting also is the North Korea charges that were hovering over his head, because he was actually brought in for questioning there. And he essentially got out of that by saying, hey, I didn't know what I was saying or doing.
Which we obviously know. He did know exactly what he was saying and doing.
Please don't charge me.
When I go to the judge tomorrow and say, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm mentally ill. I don't know what's going on. I plead mentally insane. And they say, okay, go home with a fine of $500.
Well, the only problem with that is his own streams, just like everything else he does. But here, he proves that he is very aware of how serious this behavior is here.
What's the law on that? You said you read up on the law. What's the law on that North Korea?
All right, so no propaganda, bro.
No propaganda. What is
don't carry around no.
What's the definition of propaganda?
Papers, papers promoting Kim Jong-un, T-shirts promoting Kim Jong-un. None of that, bro.
I ain't got no T-shirt.
No, I know, but don't be talking about him and saying he's a real god and whatnot.
What's kind of ironic of all this is clearly, as we saw in the start of this video, Johnny wanted so badly to be liked and kind of be like Ice Poseidon. But unfortunately for him, his own behavior led to him being hated even by his idol.
This is the reality of the situation, okay? I'm telling you the reality.
I'm listening.
I went to Japan before, no problems. After you did your I went to Japan, a bunch of problems. Why is that? Because of you. Made my life harder, so I do not like you.
So clearly, reality is slowly kicking in with Johnny that, hey, you're no longer playing a game. You have some serious consequences that are hanging over your head. Because it seems like he's taking this more seriously now. He still showed up late, but at least he had a fitting suit, and he didn't make a whole scene when he arrived. But the main thing I noticed looking at him was, wow, he looks incredibly defeated. But unfortunately for him, he still hasn't apologized. He's now ran out of time to apologize and get a more lenient sentence here.
I mean, he probably never will, but even if he does, it's, you know, way too late to apologize.
Because for some reason, he just keeps doubling down. His whole strategy here does not make sense because he was hit with 8 charges, 6 of which he's already pleaded guilty to. That was the 4 obstruction of business charges and the 2 misdemeanors. But the last 2 charges, which are the more serious charges, he pleaded not guilty to. And he did it in a little bit of an interesting way because these last 2 charges, they are for distributing and creating deepfakes. And he pled not guilty, but also said while he was pleading not guilty that, oh, he did distribute them. And while that could make sense if you're in the US, here in Korea, under his circumstances, that does not make sense whatsoever because he's ran out of money. He's using Hank's money to keep paying for his own attorney. And this is only going to prolong the entire trial process and make his sentencing even harsher because he's not pleading guilty. And as we've already established, he's already distributed them. So from the people I've talked to here, that'll extend both his trial process, but also make his sentence way harsher. And realistically, he's looking at a prison sentence from anywhere from 3 to 8 years here. And that's if the charges stay as is, because before every single trial date, they add more charges. And that's because, again, he live streamed himself committing felonies because the dude can't stop incriminating himself. So this might go down as one of the largest cases of a streamer effing around and finding out. But if you want to try Gamersubs for free, you can go to gamersubs.gg/Atozy. You can get a free sample packet when you use code Atozy. Or if you want another way to support the channel, we have a whole plethora of new releases over on Matt.city, including the Soul Collection. And you could use those as a rug on the floor or hang them up as wall decor. It's up to you. I mean, look at this thing. It looks pretty dope. Matt City, baby. Notice how they're actually braided as well, so they'll actually last a long time. Also, a lot of people wanted the exact drawing I did from court last time, but unfortunately, I discarded it. But this time, I'm keeping it. And if someone wants it, I'll just be putting it on eBay. Open bid, $1. Have at it, guys. It could be yours for maybe like $20. Who knows, depending on how many people actually want it. I also want to give a big shout out to Gabe from Culture Brat Productions for helping with clips for this video. And he's just dropping one of the largest documentaries on IRL streaming now soon, which he's just released a trailer to right here, which you can check out here. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Which we did go over. Okay, that said, that's the end. If anyone's watching in the rewatch, you know, like the stream, subscribe if you like me talking about, you know, Korea drama, obviously K-pop related stuff, and I guess the VTuber agency as well. Mostly my stuff is obviously going to be mostly Korean and K-pop related. But if you like that, subscribing. If not, oh well, no biggie. And if you have a thought at the end, comment your thought under, you know, underneath. That said, I will catch all y'all later unless something else happens later in the week. And except that, peace.
Welcome to the Blizzard Arena.
And the quest for a champion begins today.
The anticipation has been building, and it is finally time. We are live.
Are you ready? That is a really. Can you get over the roof there? Oh my! Oh my! What a play! What a grab!
Another jump here off the high ground. Super goes forward, but gets stuck up. The EMP comes in, and ding! He rains down hell from above.
Here comes Pine. Gets one, gets two. Looking for a bit more. Gets another one.
Tuno's down again. That heralds disaster generally for the Fusion, and Carpe wasn't far behind. Prophet! He's killed 4 players now on
now moving onto the Widowmaker, taking the clutch into his own hands. The headshot and the headshot and the headshot.
We're going to try and circle around. I'm going to call this the merry-go-round because it makes me laugh. Makes me happy. And Sean Paul switches to the Widowmaker at just the right time. Oh, the Gravy!
I'm the best tracer in the world.
Oh my word!
I mean, you could have told me that you spoke English, honestly.
The fans never thought they'd see this day. It took 43 matches. Feels like a really emotional moment here.
Alrighty, I'll see you later. Bye.